Hello everybody. I know it's been a while since I've done a video blog, but I have my camera, my video camera, so I probably look a lot more sharper than I would in the webcam on my laptop. Just to bring you up to speed, I completed the first 2 cycles of rice. I had a PET scan and a CT scan which showed that I was in remission. And then last week I was in the hospital for a week for what they call mobilization chemotherapy, which was a little bit stronger than I thought it would be, but I made it through and it bounced right back. It took me about 3 days of not feeling well, and then I pretty much bounced back. So this is getting me set up for the stem cell transplant, which we're hoping will take place at the end of September. So what I'm doing now is I have to give myself injections two times a day to boost my white blood cell count. And probably in a week or so, what we'll do is I have a larger catheter that was placed in my chest, and what we'll do is take my blood, take some of the white blood cells which contain the stem cells which will be used for my transplant, and then the blood will go back into me. So then they take that, preserve that, and then the end of September, hopefully, I'll have probably about 5 or 6 days or 7 days of really high dose chemotherapy, and then they give you your blood back, basically, in the little bag, which has the stem cells. So at that time, you're basically at zero, or over the next few days, your blood counts will drop. You'll have no white blood cells, no red blood cells, no platelets. You'll have to get transfusions. And then it'll take 2 or 3 weeks to bounce back up. After that, I'll have to be monitored for a month after I'm out of the hospital here in Houston. So it was a little strange this time at the hospital, because now that I'm going into the bone marrow transplant, I have a different doctor over seeing me than before. Everybody wears masks when they come in the room. I'm technically supposed to wear a mask everywhere, although my counts haven't bottomed out yet from this last round. So it's just kind of strange, and there's certain food restrictions you have, like no fruits and vegetables and that type of thing. But I mean, it's amazing how well I'm doing, and I'm very thankful, because if you do any research on the internet about Burkitt's lymphoma, you're probably nowhere going to find anybody who has recurrent Burkitt's lymphoma is doing as well as I'm doing now. And this has been backed up by the doctors at MD Anderson, who see lots of cases of Burkitt's, and they've never seen it. So it's very good news. They say that it could take you a year to recover from the transplant, but I'm hoping it'll be sooner for me. The other odd thing about the transplant is that you lose some of your immunity. So when you're a kid and you have vaccinations, you have your shots, well, you have a new immune system, so you basically lose all that. So after a year or so, once you recount, you have to have all your shots again. And you have to be very careful not to get sick, not to be around people who've had vaccinations, or children who've had vaccinations, because you can pick that up. So of course, like any medical condition, they give you all these conditions, and you kind of scratch your head and hope that doesn't happen to you, but you just hope for the best and keep making through. So again, I want to thank everybody. If I haven't written you, I try to, but it's just when I go into the hospital, I go into a blur, and then I come out of it, and then after a few days, I start bouncing back, and it's a very weird process. But I will say, some good news is I have never, in my first treatment 3 years ago, I don't ever remember feeling as good as I do now. So that's good news. Take care, keep following the blog, and thank you for thinking of me.